Well, good afternoon, everybody. Coming to a community near you is CopDots, which is DNA for your property. And today we're here to introduce the citizens to CopDots and explain a little bit about it. CopDots are tiny discs about the size of a grain of sand that contain a unique personal identification number, much like DNA. The home or business owner applies CopDots with a small applicator, which glues the CopDots to the item being marked. The user then creates an account at copdots.com and registers as the owner of the items with that PIN number or DNA that's contained within the CopDots. Deputies will be able to read the CopDots PIN number with an ultraviolet light reader provided to the Sheriff's Office by the CopDots company. This will allow identification of someone's stolen property. Additional Treasure Coast law enforcement agencies are adopting the CopDot system into their operations, so this will make the entire Treasure Coast more secure and make us more available to identify stolen property and recover stolen property. And with that, I want to introduce the president of CopDot, Sean Andreas, which will explain a little bit more about the program and the product. And Sean, come on up.
Great. Thanks, Sheriff. I appreciate it. First, I want to just thank Sheriff Mascara and the Sheriff's Office for the support. This is a national initiative that we kick off here in this area, and what we've done is we've wanted to select agencies like here in St. Lucie County that are very proactive and look at crime prevention as a serious way to get into the community. And the CopDots program really is a method that we feel not only will help address the issue of property crimes, but also will be an opportunity to connect the residents of this community with law enforcement. So let me just give you a real quick rundown on CopDots and actually how it works. This is actually CopDots right here. CopDots is it's just a pen applicator. Inside this pen, there is a clear adhesive. And in the adhesive, there's thousands of tiny little microdots, smaller than the size of a grain of sand. And on every one of those dots, we have laser etched a number. And those numbers all match in this pen, and then they're assigned to an individual user. So there's 4 components to the success of this program. One is obviously the product itself, which is this pen. The second is the participation and the support of law enforcement. Without law enforcement support in individuals marking their property, there really is no value to this program. So they're an integral part to this process. The third is the database that we use. Now what we've done is we've created a very simple database for the users to register their information and manage their property. And then we give secure access to law enforcement. So if law enforcement should actually access that information, they can find out in real time who the owner of that property is, allowing them to move forward with the process, whether it's a crime has been committed or in fact that they need to return property to the rightful owner. And then the fourth component to this is really getting it out into the community. And just recently what we've done is we've struck a national deal with Lowe's, and they're going to carry the product on a national basis. And again, it starts here, right here in St. Lucie County, and what we're doing is we will slowly move across the country and introduce this process to every law enforcement agency from here to Seattle, Washington. So it's an exciting day for us to really kick this off, and especially here where I think that they're very proactive, and we're looking forward to implementing this into the community and making a real difference in property crimes.
Now I have a couple of questions that I want our viewers to know. The actual size of it is right here in your hand. It's not like a big cumbersome piece of equipment. This is it.
This is it right here.
And then what will the cost be to the homeowner who wants to purchase this?
The cost of this will be $29.98, so $30 to the owner, to the homeowner, and you can mark about 40 to 50 items with each pin. There's no additional charges or monthly reoccurring fees. It's just a one-time fee, and you can add multiple pins. If you want to mark more than 40 or 50, you can register multiple pins within the system.
Awesome.
How do you mentioned the raising community awareness. How do you propose doing that aside from something like this?
Well, our real, when we started this process about 2 years ago, and really what it is, we're looking at crime prevention initiatives, and we feel that this is a complete solution. You know, you take the sheriff's office here. I mean, they're a proactive agency that are out there engaging into the community. And one of the biggest challenges with any crime prevention program is how do you get participation? You know, you go to a homeowners meeting, you go to a crime prevention meeting, you get the same 5 or 6 people that participate. And sometimes you need something a little bit more to engage the residents. And we feel that this is one of those things that will engage residents, and they'll take an active role in preventing crime within their neighborhood. We feel that if we can get a substantial number of residents within a community to start marking their property, that sends this message to the criminals that are out there that, look, we need to go somewhere else to commit these crimes.
Talk about the detection kit here that law enforcement is going to
Sure.
have and how that works. Just explain how the process works.
Let me,
Let me just expand on Sean's
sure.
answer there for just a second. We are very proactive in our county with homeowners groups, Neighborhood Watch, COP, and what we want to do is aggressively lobby them to acquire these pens. And if we get a mass majority or a vast majority of a community to buy these pens, then they will come out and put a sign, just like a Neighborhood Watch sign, at the entrance of this community, identifying this community as a Cops Dots community. Now, if you're a criminal, you see a Neighborhood Watch sign, then you see that most of the homes there are utilizing this identification system for their property. We presume that that criminal is going to go elsewhere, that it's just too risky to go ahead and commit a crime in that neighborhood, and that's what we want to accomplish through this.
And how, I guess, before you get to the demonstration, how will this help you? I mean, are you going to be, where are you going to find the stolen property to check it?
Well, I mean, they're going to supply some of these readers to pawn shops.
Okay.
Our property crimes detectives know some common players that always seem to end up with property, but there's no way for us to know that it's stolen. This is a great mechanism for us to identify it and know that it is stolen.
Okay.
Will this help with our most recent rash of the so-called pillowcase burglars?
By all means, yes. And you know, there's some other initiatives that you could do with this pen. Let's say that a parent has a young child that goes to school. They can mark their book bag, maybe their sneakers. God forbid that child comes up missing, and a deputy finds a child walking along the road and says, you know, are you so-and-so? And the kid says, you know, he can't communicate or he can't tell. That deputy would have a scanner say, yeah, this is our missing child. I mean, he's identified. That's the one that's missing. So,
sorry.
yeah, there's a lot of uses for this, not only just property.
Are
So
all
you
the
saying mark the kid? Is that what
Marked
you're
his shoes, mark his book bag.
Are all the deputies going to be having these kits eventually?
They're going to have the scanners, yes.
Okay.
yep.
Okay, go ahead.
Let me give you a quick. I'll just one of the things that one of the things we provide to every agency is a detection kit. So it's really up to each agency to decide how they want to distribute the resources that we provide. There's no limitations to it, and we want to point out too that there's no cost to this. When we actually put this program together, we understand that like I mentioned, the program is not just this pen. The program is this, and the support from law enforcement, and this is the support that we provide. So in the detection kit, there's several different types of readers. This is actually a field reader right here that will allow patrol or the deputies to actually view the dots and get a reading and then enter that number into the database in real time. So, in a nice scenario, you get situations where you may make a stop where a deputy has a suspicion, but they can't really go any further. If they can identify who the real owner is, now it goes from suspicion to probable cause, and now the law enforcement can take some further steps in action to not only put a criminal away, but return the property to the individual that it came from. So that's one of the readers here. We also provide a mobile reader. So this actually clips on a mobile phone, and it can be on an iPhone, an Android, or a BlackBerry. And what it does is it just provides the black light illumination to identify if the property's been marked, and then some lighting, and it's adjustable, and it can actually be videoed through their individual camera, maintain the photograph, and they can actually save that for later for evidence. They can text message it or email it as well. So that's another reader. And then we also provide a station reader. And this reader is just a little bit easier to use. It has a USB connection, a large viewer, so you can read the dot a little bit easier. And this would be in an evidence room or in different precincts where they're processing property, so you can get a reading and then store that information in a digital format, whether it's on a digital storage card or in a USB connection to the PC. So those are the readers that we provide, as well as the fluorescent lighting that illuminates the property or illuminates the trace in the CopDots adhesive, so it can be identified.
Now, is there a uniform way to mark things, you know, say an iPad? I mean, are you gonna scan the whole back of it, or?
In the actual packaging, which is this here, this is the actual packaging to the product, and this is what you'll see in the Lowe's stores. There'll actually be application instructions inside, which gives recommended areas to mark around cereal plates, on the cereal plate, where power turns on and off, framing areas, just to give a general idea. So when we provide training to each of the agencies, we tell them the common areas that they're going to be marked, so they're not spending an enormous amount of time actually searching for the product that's been marked.